Hello, my name is Steph Bartlett. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I share lots of farm life here from our family farm in South Australia. If you've been watching my YouTube videos for a little while, you may remember a while back, it was all systems go here in the shearing shed. We were shearing the rams, hoggets and lambs, and by the end of shearing, there were a heap of wool bales. Since then, a truck has come to the farm, collected all the wool bales and taken them across to Melbourne. And if I'm to be completely honest, I've never really given much thought to what happens with those wool bales once they leave our shearing shed. I didn't even know they went to Melbourne, if I'm to be completely honest. So when I found out I had the opportunity to head across to Melbourne with Elders and Farmer Paul to see where our wool gets stored, watch it get sold at the auction, I was bloody stoked. I was like, right, time for me to learn more about this wool industry. So I learned a lot in the process of this trip, learned so much about wool and the wool industry, and I hope this video can do the same for you. And quickly, massive thank you to Elders for this trip to Melbourne. It was amazing, such a great experience, and if anyone else gets the opportunity to do so, I recommend you do it. Very cool. Let's dive into today's YouTube video. It's a cool one. I hope you love it. Let's go.
Burn a little brighter every day, swimming in the tide against the waves, and I can hold my breath until they crash.
I've just dropped off Coco at Mum and Dad's house, and now I'm going to drive to Farmer Paul's place. And that's where Trevor from Elders is going to meet us, and he is going to drive us over to Melbourne. I'm excited for this little trip. It'll be interesting, I reckon. This is Trevor from Elders, and we got Farmer Paul in the background there. What's the deal with this trip? What are we up to?
So we're going over to the wool sale to see Paul and Rodney's wool being sold. That's at the National Wool Selling Centre at Brooklyn, but we're also visiting Elders wool store at Ravenhall, which is our new store, which is a great investment by Elders in wool. My role, I'm a wool manager. I've been with Elders for 15 years. I look after Elders wool clients in the upper southeast, the Mallee, the Riverland, and a few pastoral clients as well, and looking forward to the trip.
It was about a 5-hour drive across to Melbourne, and it was such a treat not having to drive. Trevor from Elders had it all sorted, and of course we needed to have a couple of stops along the way. Anyone that knows Farmer Paul knows he loves a bakery. Where's the next stop? Another bakery.
Awesome bakery, and Trevor's saying it's the best bakery he's been to in the world. So we're really excited about it.
You reckon?
Well,
Pretty close to it, he said.
I haven't been everywhere in the world, but the Conway Bakery at Horsham is very, very good.
Okay, we'll
We'll
find out.
find out, because I've been to a few of my time, I tell you.
Yes, you have. We made it to the Horsham Bakery and it got a big thumbs up from all of us, even me. I'm not a huge bakery person, but the steak and mushroom pie I had, that was pretty good. And then before we knew it, we made it to Melbourne, checked into our accommodation, had dinner together, and check out the view the next morning when I got up. Right, it is 7 a.m. I'm going to meet Trevor and Paul downstairs for breakfast in half an hour. As I'm getting ready, I'm thinking, what are my clothes actually made of? Do I wear much wool? I've never really given this much thought, even though I grew up on a farm with merino sheep and we take pride in their wool, and I don't even know if I wear much wool. I'm definitely going to pay attention to this moving forward. I just checked this cardi out and it's 90% wool, so I feel like that's a bloody good start. I'm pretty happy about that, so I think I might need to wear this today to show support for the wool industry. And I'll start paying more attention to these things moving forward. I guess that's why I like making these YouTube videos as well, because it gets me thinking about certain things, and hopefully those of you watching, it will make you start thinking about these things too. So it was time to head down and meet Farmer Paul and Trevor for a delicious breakfast before we then have our big day out learning all about wool and the wool industry. And I guess the most important part for me is understanding what happens to our bales of wool once they leave our shearing shed. We are in the car. Where are we heading to first, Trevor?
We're off to Ravenhall, which is Elders wool handling facility. So that's where all the wool is stored from all Elders wool clients from South Australia, Tassie, Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland. So I think we can store about 60,000 bales there. That's also where the wool's tested or sampled, not tested, but we do our sampling there. We've got a couple of core machines.
Yep.
And then after our visit to Ravenhall, we're off to the wool sales at the National Wool Selling Centre.
Amazing. So do we get to see them sampling the wool? Is that where we sit?
Yeah, we will. They'll be sampling there today.
Okay.
And we'll be able to see the whole process. And of course, probably the highlight there for most people is seeing the automated robotic forklifts, which there are 22 of them, and they can lift the bales of wool and stack them 10 high, and they go into individual cubby holes, and as I say, we can stack about 60,000 of them there, so they're pretty amazing to see.
As soon as we pulled up, I thought, my goodness, this place is huge. I was so excited to go inside and have a look. And as soon as we stepped in the door, I could smell that smell of wool, which I loved. And get ready for it. We stepped into the Elders staff room here and the wow factor hit. Oh, wow. Alright. Trevor, what's this room here?
So this is Elders show floor. So there's two sales here. We've got the next week's sale and the current sale are all on the show floor here. So all the samples of wool that will be sold are laid out here. It's a great facility because of all the natural light and for the buyers to have a look at the wool in its true light, and also all the timber boards too, which make it comfortable if you're out here valuing wool all day and looking at wool. So yeah, this is the show floor.
So like Trevor said, all these boxes have samples of wool from the wool bales. So when the buyers are preparing to go to auction to buy their wool, they can come and see the samples first, so they know exactly what they're bidding on. Because we're selling wool today, it means we have a sample box here with some of our wool in it. So we're just going to go have a look at it and see how it all looks. Oh, and I forgot to mention, you'll see Trevor's holding the catalogue here. So each box has a number on it and says what wool it is. So that's how we know how to find ours.
Lot 77 here. So this is a 13 bale line. These your hoggets, Paul?
Yes, yeah. The big lines will be.
So that was split in half, two 13 bale lines. So 17.6 micron, 61 yield.
Strength down a bit.
30 and 26 with the strength. So a little bit stretchy, but not too bad. And it all looks pretty good. We'll see if there's anything in there that shouldn't be in there.
Okay.
Is this how you check if the classing's been done well?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
So there's a little bit of a little bit of a sweat dag, but nothing untoward. But yes, just a little bit of skirting left on there. Feels really soft. Other than that, looks pretty good.
Yeah. Not bad for a drought, I think. They've been
absolutely
in confinement for 6 months. I think they've.
As I say, it feels really soft, Paul. You feel that?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Got a fair bit of style about it.
Yes, that's what I was telling you about when I was classing.
Yes.
You know?
The crimp in it.
Yeah, the crimp and just that fluidy wax through it. It's soft, but not over waxed. Just got the right secondary wool follicles. Yeah, and alignment. No, it's very, very pleasing for the year we had.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a tough year for
yeah, they've only probably grown, like I said, when I class, probably grown about 70% of the normal, but that's just economics.
Yeah.
And this is the other half of that line. So once again,
I just pulled these two apart, like to get smaller lines, And that's just for better competition for the buyers. Is that right, Trevor?
And the buyers, yeah, that's right. So 26 bales would have been too much to sell. If we split it in half, it gives more opportunity to more buyers to buy the wool, because they're buying lots to blend together to make up an order. So it's easier if they're smaller lots. So generally speaking, we wouldn't go above 15 bales for most wools. Crossbreds and some of the big pastoral clips, we might go a bit bigger. But no, that looks good.
It's nice little wool. See the definite crimp. Nice and rich wool, what I call rich wools, brightness.
That's what you're going for.
Yep.
This next line, 18.8 micron.
How many bales?
This is just a 3 bale line.
Yeah.
This is longer, this stuff is quite long. It's
Probably the rams, could it be? I'm guessing.
yes, yeah, I think it might be 3 bales. The bin codes are, so
Probably one's possibly ram hoggets and one's adult rams, I don't know. I wasn't that sure.
but it's quite long. That's 132 mil, so a little bit overly long.
Probably thinking the ram hoggets then, I'd say.
Yeah,
My guess.
but very sound. This one's 38 newtons, so it's sound. So they sound. It looks, you know, they must have been pretty well fed this line.
Yeah, they come through very well, passing, very consistent.
Yeah,
It's all soft in it.
it is.
What's that micron?
It's 18.8.
18.8 micron for the rams. And they're fed well, so that's good result.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
No, very good. All right, we'll have a look at the pieces and the lamb's wool
That's not
now.
ours, that one?
No, that's not ours.
2027.
Here we are.
Pieces?
So these are the skirting
Yep.
off those fleece wools,
Off the hoggets.
and it looks pretty good. I think as long as you don't see big heaps of white wool in there, they've gone too hard and taken too much off. But there's a little bit there, but there's a little bit of burr, but that's probably not too bad overall. And that is, those pieces are 16.8 micron.
It's good micron.
And obviously a bit more VM in there, 2.2% VM, 54% yield. Right, we'll have a look at the lamb's wool now.
Lamb's wool, yep.
6015. So this is quite short lamb's wool, 17.8 micron, 64.4 yield. This is carding wool, so it's not long enough to get a length strength test on. So when we visually appraise this wool, we've put a type on this and said it's about 30 mil long. But really,
So lamb's wool you picked, you've done picking of lamb's wool, haven't you? Yeah.
it looks pretty clean.
Doesn't it? No stain or
It's a
pretty
nice,
consistent length, isn't it?
nice line of wool. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of a skin piece there, but
Yeah, right here.
it's an imperfect science. It's
Oh yeah, it's some possibly got the skin pieces, isn't it?
but that's a nice line of carding wool
yeah.
for sure.
Yep. Yep, very happy with that. Good job sorting, you can see, isn't it? It's just,
Courtney was our wool classer, so
Yeah.
she might watch
Well-
this. Thank you, Courtney.
well done, Courtney. Lovely job.
That's
great.
good.
Yep, it's good.
It's what you'd expect to see. So
Yep.
this is all the sweats and second cuts and bits and pieces, and that looks pretty good too, really. Like I think you'd be pretty happy with that as well.
That's very good. So you're sorting through and you're not finding any
There's
of the
not a
clean,
lot of
good
there's
stuff.
not there's
No,
not a
just
lot of
all,
white wool in there either. Like
greasier and stickier and
they've done a good job.
yeah, very good job. Well done.
So when the buyers are coming through and appraising all this wool, they'll have a proper dig through these boxes, and anything they find that's untoward, they'll make sure that it's on top so that the other buyers can find it.
Okay.
Oh, that's a line of stain next door, but there's a lot of obvious stain in there. But sometimes I'll even sort of stick it up the top here so that it stands out. So if they find some stain or a shank or some heavy brand or something, they'll make sure that
there.
everybody knows it's there.
So all the buyers come through here. This is
So they've got a week, so that's why we've got another show floor. There's 2 show floors out, so as soon as the sale's finished today, they'll be able to come back from tomorrow on and value the wool for the next week.
okay.
So they've got all week to come here. I think the
Quite a few people come through.
next week's sale's on a Wednesday, but they've got all that time to come and value the wool. So they'll come through, they'll type it, they'll put a value what they think it's worth, and they'll look at the orders that they've got to fill, and yeah, they'll work out what they're going to do when they get to auction next week. This is a devil's claw burr. Yeah, not a very nice one to have in your sheep. I'm thinking sort of, I don't know, New South Wales, Western Queensland maybe.
Never seen that.
Yeah, that's one of the nastier ones. The other one's probably Nagura burr, which is like a little football with spikes all over it. That's not very pleasant. And there's a ring burr, or a monkey's bum, that is not very nice either. So there's some interesting burrs around the place.
So I met Trevor yesterday when he picked us up to bring us over here to Melbourne, and he mentioned that you hadn't seen my YouTube channel, had you?
I hadn't, no, and it was only after a grower that I know out at Karoonda happened to say, recommend the channel, that I actually looked it up. And so this is a shout out to the Schiller boys out at Paponda there. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and this is their wool.
The wool went well today, it all sold and did really well. So good job in a tough season out that way for sure.
So Farmer Paul and Trevor were really happy with how our wool samples looked in those boxes. So now it was time to head to the staff room and just have a little break before we then go to see our wool get sold. But on the way, how can you not pause and just admire this setup? This goes 10 wool bales high, and those robotic forklifts, they can get the bales up that high. Look at them just cruising around.
We'll have a look down there after, but they're the sampling lines down there, so that's where they take the grab and the core samples. And once the bales have been sampled,
Yep.
that's when the forklifts, the robotic forklifts take over.
Yep.
Paul, put the cakes down. Put them down, they're not ours. Can't take them anywhere. It's safe to say we were very well fed on this trip, and it was also nice to see, whilst we're in the staff room, that there were other families coming through doing the trip that we're doing, so they too could see their wool get sold. Matt, you're
Yes.
over here as well, showing clients
Yep.
this amazing place.
Yep.
Who have you got with you here?
So we've got the Mannings from Tasmania. I myself am based here.
Oh, okay.
So just showing a few of our lovely Tassie clients around.
That's cool. What do you love about coming? Have you come over here before? This is the first time.
It's the first time to Ravenhall.
Yeah. Pretty impressive, you reckon?
It's very impressive.
What an incredible start to the day. I am loving this, but now we need to head off to our next stop, and then we'll be back here again for a tour. That was so cool to check out. So where are we off to next, Trevor?
We're off to the sales now. So
sales.
the National Wool Selling Centre, the auction room's there. We're starting up in about half an hour's time. So we're there. We've got the 2 sale rooms there. Room 1, which is all merino fleece wool, and room 2, which the auction's at the same time, a different group of buyers. Is all the pieces, bellies, locks, stains, crossbreds, all the oddments are in the other room. So hopefully we're off to make some money.
Yes, we are. Smells like wool in here. Once again, there was no shortage of food. Lots of yummy food. And here we have the wool auctions. I tell you what, listening to them is quite the experience. There's all the wool buyers there bidding on the wool. And outside you can see that's where the growers ourselves were sitting, or I got to sneak in the room to get this footage. Alrighty, here goes Tolkien. It's our turn. Here's the bidding for our wall.
1,050 RMA, I need 1,200. 1,200.
So what's your thoughts on that for Tolkien?
Well, how did it go, Paul? How did we go for up 10 or 15 cents?
Each one.
Yeah. No, good. So we did slightly better than the appraisal, so it looks like a good solid sale. Haven't seen anything passed in, so good competition in the auction room there, so a good result of it. Yeah, we can go across, yeah.
Whilst we were there, we went between the two different sale rooms to watch all of our wool get sold, and they all went really well. This is Lockie. Lockie, what's your role at Elders?
Thanks, Steph. I'm Staple Manager for Elders for Victoria, Riverina and South Australia and Tassie. So my role is to help all our DWMs have access to all the products and services to provide to their clients in regional areas.
So where is most of this wool going? It's getting sold. Where is it going?
Yes, still majority China. So we are beholden to China, really, which is, has its pros and its cons. At the end of the day, like, it is the manufacturing hub of the world, and wool being quite a process-intensive type of product that needs to go through a number of different processes to be turned into an end product, whether it be clothing, furnishings or what have you. It really does need a lot of manufacturing capacity, and that's where China starts. But a lot of that wool is re-exported, part processed. So whereas 80% of the wool sold here today will go to China, half of that is re-exported as a part processed product to be finished either in Vietnam or Europe or America. So it's still the early stage processing is predominantly China.
Okay. All right, so Lockie, we've obviously had a pretty cool experience, Farmer Paul and myself here today. Why do you think it's important for farmers to come and see this side of their wool being sold?
Oh, I think, Steph, it's about coming down to see where the product finishes, and not only, I suppose, from a sales perspective, but also a preparation perspective. So as you saw at Ravenhall today, you get to look at the samples, see how they've come up. You get to see what the buyers are looking at, what they're assessing, and then ultimately how they view that by buying the wool in the room here in the auction rooms. So at the end of the day, it's important, from a not only I suppose just an experience to see the auction process, but also get that feedback in terms of the pricing and the opportunity to often talk to buyers today as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steph.
After watching our wool get sold, plus having a chat with lots of different Elders staff, they were very generous with their time and all my questions, and we had lunch there as well. It was then time to head back to Elders Ravenhall, where we had to get our high vis on, ready for our tour. We've got Simon here. Simon, what's your role at Elders and what are we about to do?
So I'm based here at Ravenhall. I'm the National Operations Manager, so I'm sort of involved or responsible for the front end. My team, type the wool, lot the wool, virtually prepare the wool for sale, as well as all the admin duties. We're just going to have a quick tour of downstairs at Ravenhall and just have a look at the process, how wool's received and what happens to the bale once it gets here, and how we process it and get wool ready for sale.
Amazing. So the next step, once it's come off our sheep, it's gone on the truck from our shearing shed, it comes here.
Arrives here.
Yep.
And it's pretty unique here. We're actually open 24 hours a day through the busy parts of the year. So that's pretty unique that we take receivals all day, all night.
Wow. All right, let's check it out. Now, as you can see, I've got my microphone on and I gave one to Simon as well. I was very proud of myself for being organised with that, but unfortunately, midway through, I noticed it wasn't working. However, I then get it working again, so just bear with me. I'm going to edit this video the best I can, but do keep watching because the sound quality does improve.
The warehouse is 35,000 square metres. The awning, I think, is just over 7,000 square metres all under cover. And you can see it's like another warehouse. It's wiring on the top, it's all burn-proof. You know, this awning's a fabulous spot.
24 hours a day, that's impressive too.
Why we're able to open 24 hours a day, the robots work all night, and a lot of the outbound's done at night, and that enables us to take receivables. So that was one of the hidden gems with the AGVs that we probably didn't realise initially.
Yeah.
And what it also does, allows the interstate trucks to come at night when it's quieter,
Yep.
get in and out of the Melbourne, vicinity pretty quick. And also it avoids congestions. It's pretty rare to see any more than 2 or 3 or 4 trucks at a time for South Australia. So the awning's looking okay now, but this can get very full. It was very full a couple of weeks ago. Our record week since we've been here was 8,250 bales in 1 week. I think it was 3 weeks ago, we received just under 8,000 for the week, which is, one out of the blue, which put a lot of pressure on. There's a lot of wool in a week, and a lot of that wool has to be caught and processed in a week. You can see some of the brands that have just come in. So this piece of equipment here is unique to Elders. It's what we call the induction machine. Once the wool's received and it's recorded in the system, and we've got paperwork, a class specification, the wools are broken out into its folios and marked up, and every bale comes through this induction machine. It does a few things. It actually weighs the bale. So we're looking for under and overweight bales, and previously they cause sort of bleed. It also measures the bales. We're looking for, too short, too long, and we put a QR code on the bale. Yeah. So it's recording the bale weight, putting a QR code on.
Oh, that bit quickly at the bottom there.
Yeah. So this arm is spraying that on, and this stuff over here, he's linking the bale information that you have recorded from the class specification to that bale. So this is for our internal warehouse.
And with that, that code's got all the information on it.
Yep. It then links the property brand, the description, the bale number into our system, and links to that QR code.
One thing that really surprised me is that Elders receive a large number of overweight bales every year. And obviously this is really time consuming for them because they need to adjust the bales to get them to the correct weight in order for the bales to go through the full process. And it also comes at an expense for the growers as well. So it's in everyone's best interest that we get the bales weighing the correct amount. So what do you recommend farmers do to avoid getting overweight?
Yeah, ideally calibrate the scales. If possible, have another check of scales to check that the bales are accurate.
Yeah.
Growers don't deliberately press overweight bales. They often the scales aren't accurate. So that check there, and we've seen some real horror stories of large clips coming in with a high percentage of overweight, and we can't pour wool until those overweights are fixed. We can't put them in the rack. So please check and double check scales to ensure they're not overweight.
Yeah.
Out under the awning, once the clip's ready for sale, it's all marked up, and in red here is what we call a folio number that's handwritten on. Yep, and that's the number of bales in the line. So this 13 bale line sitting here, it's been marked up, it's been through the induction, and this is ready for two core and grab machines. These machines were made by Scarlett's in New Zealand, and you can see the bale stays parallel, and each chamber does a different thing. The first one's centering, the next one's putting some cups on the bale, the next one's grabbing, the next one's pushing the grab back. Then we're weighing the bale, so the weighing takes place after the grab, and the final one is the core. So that's the process in testing bales. And as you can see, you know, it's random. There's no human intervention, so that grab sample should be uniform, unbiased, and representative of what's in the bale. Where the core gets done. So there's spears go from the base of the bale through the top, and air flows the core into the sample. Yep, so it's blowing it. So every bale gets poured, and from that core sample it goes. There's only two AWTA labs in Australia now. One in Melbourne, so close by to us, and one in Fremantle. So samples are going to the AWTA multiple times during the day, and from the core sample we get the micron, we get the yields, we get all that information that goes into the catalogue. Spins it, so the AGVs pick it up by the head.
Ah, that thing, yeah.
So the AGVs, you can see them working now. There's 22 AGVs worth over $500,000 each. They come from a company called E80 in Italy. And while coring's going on, their priority is to keep them away from the core lines.
Incredible.
The AGVs, you can see on the right-hand side there. So the AGVs, every hour they need 5 to 10 minutes of charge. So if they haven't got an immediate mission, they charge themselves. So there's 3 machines there just getting a quick charge now before they'll off to pick up another bale. Individual slots, yeah, and we go 10 high. You can see this first row here because that's the closest. It's pretty full. The bottom row is only 3 bays wide, and that was originally designed for problem bales, but as you can see we don't get a lot, so yeah, there's not a lot of bales on the bottom. So this here is what they call the AWTA tufting machines. So some of the samples, the longer combing rules need a length strength test. So what happens here is that samples laid out on a conveyor belt, and there's little pliers that pluck staples and add the staples to a reel, and that reel heads into the AWTA laboratory in Kensington, and that length strength will match the core sample we saw earlier with the the micron data, the length strength data, all matching that one group of bales, that one lot. So this display here, we've had it going about 18 months, but it highlights contamination, still a real issue in the industry. These are from the bulk class bales, so these are the mixed bales that have various types in them. But you can see some of the items we've found, spanners, there's clips, lots of bits and pieces, there's a jumper been found, a towel.
In the bales?
In the bales. So
wow.
Fortunately we're finding it, but one of the largest Chinese buyers He's actually put staff on at the scour to tip bales in, and if they find contamination, they take photos of the bale, the brand, and they send that a claim of $1,100 US back to the broker. It hasn't caused any financial damage, but it's helping offset their costs because they've had to put extra labour on to tip. Yeah, this one here, this is not it's contamination, it's vegetable matter. It's what's called a devil's claw. It's a very nasty seed, and it's unique to certain pastoral areas in inland New South Wales and Queensland. Not much in South Australia, I don't think, but it's called the devil's claw. It's quite amazing. Nasty stuff.
Yeah, far out. That was in a bale.
In a bale.
You're kidding me.
In a bale.
Someone, if you're missing some tools, check your wool bales.
So you heard the saying, putting a spanner on the works, Steph?
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
That's it.
Someone's a shifting spinner.
So this area here is what we call our rehandle, and we have nearly 5,000 bales a year which are rehandle, and they're those, you know, end of a shearing, mixed bales, different types. And our aim here is to, you know, build lots that are compatible and really even to achieve really good prices for those low, you know, those low end wools. So we've got, I think, 110 or so different bins and types, and we've got to cater for, you know, superfines from Tasmania, composite crossbreds in the Western District to pastoral clips in South Australia and Queensland. So we've got every type of wool here, and we even get some exotics and crossy dags. Yep, so we've got 2 full-time presses. So the presses are either pressing the rehandle that's worked, they're fixing under and overweight bales. Yep, but they have to be fixed before we can process wool and put in the racking. And they're also pressing up the samples, the sold samples. We've got 15 or 16 different types, so they're pressed up and eventually resold as well. So that keeps the presses busy.
All right, so we've seen the process of the bales getting the robots, put them up there. Where to from there? Where does the wool go?
So when the wool's sold, wool's a fabulous industry as far as really safe. We don't release wool until it's paid for. So once the buyer's paid for the wool, the 2 main destinations are 2 large, you know, they call them wool dumps. Pact owners and AWH are the 2 main destinations locally, and with China being dominant in the market at the minute, they're buying, you know, in excess of 80% of the clip. Most of the bales are just in free bale format into containers because of the cheap freight back to China. About 15% of the bales get what they call dump, which is, it condenses 3 bales into 1, which they call a tri-pack, and puts steel bands around it. Yeah. Majority of bales that get dumped are going to European destinations, you know, further away, more expensive freight. Only a small percentage of the wool going to China gets dumped, yet most of free bales in 40-foot containers.
Isn't Elders Ravenhall just incredible? Mind-blowing. It was really cool to have a walk through, and I really appreciate Simon taking the time to explain everything to us. There's another person in the Elders team that people have been talking about, and I was told you must have an interview with her. So that is Sam. We have a chat with Sam now. Sam, everyone I've talked to in Elders today have said you are the woman that does it all. You're the go-to person for everything. So what is your actual role?
Alrighty, so my title is as our wool quality assurance and our marketing manager here at Elders, and it can cover everything. So here today we were running around the wool sale. Generally I am auctioneering as well, but we had a full fleet this week, so it wasn't needed for that. And then the lotting if I'm needed for typing, but also a big part of that's the wool quality assurance schemes that are coming in terms of spotlighting wool and being able to share those sustainability angles with consumers and some of the brands that we're working with.
Okay, so you do lots. And the other thing that's really stood out is everyone said you're so passionate about the wool industry. Do you come from a farming background?
No, I don't. So originally, I grew up in Sydney, in Western Sydney. So I've come from a non-farming family, and I'm now probably about 13 years with Elders, and it's just been a great look, in terms of opportunity, the people you get to meet and the opportunities and things you get to do, it's just been a great experience.
And you've even got your own sheep now.
I do have my own sheep, so running a small mob of merinos just outside of Ballarat, which is a lot of fun. It's a good way to learn. So my wool is actually up next week, so it's
Go through the full process with your own wool.
Yeah, that's it. So it's all part of the learning side, and whatever we can do to really spotlight wool. So I also try and share, stories about what we're doing on farm, and then a small part of that as well. I've just partnered with a company to bring out some wool t-shirts. So
amazing.
it's
well, that was my next question. Like, why should we? I feel like we need more education around this. Why should we be buying wool clothing?
And look, beyond the whole angle of it's a natural, sustainable fibre, and also I think it's that pride in Australia as well. The Australian merino clip or wool clip as a whole really just needs that boost to be used. But definitely in terms of, I can have days where I've got meetings in the city, and probably the only thing I want to wear is wool, because you can be on a train, you can be on a bus, and you know the last thing you want to do is show up for a meeting and be sweaty, just a sweaty, disgusting mess. And that breathability for the fibre.
So, okay.
It's that fibre that fits our life. Life today, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. And then Simon was also saying that wool has a bit of a bad rap because it used to be itchy.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying it's not like that anymore, but people are still caught up in the old ways, like, oh, wool's itchy, no, I don't want wool. But it's actually not the case anymore.
Not the case. So wool has really well and truly evolved. The technology and the science behind it, and the research that's put into our amazing fibre, it's really there. So look, Wool Sale Day is not is definitely a day. Wool underwear has to be worn, wool socks, and it's all that next to skin. So there's some amazing brands out there doing great work, bringing wool into that next market for young care, baby care, and sleepwear and things like that too.
I love that. I think we need to start checking our labels a bit more. Just because I did this morning a cardi I had on, I was like, oh, better check if he's got wool, and it was actually 90% wool, 10% cashmere.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'm doing all right, but I don't normally pay attention to these things, but I think I will moving forward.
Most definitely.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Like I said, you're a busy woman, and I know you've got a meeting coming up, so thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me chat. Thank you.
And that was a wrap. But look at this. How amazing is the Elders staff room? Absolutely love the view that they have from there. And I also absolutely loved our day of learning what happens to our wool after it leaves our shearing shed to the point where it gets sold. And then, before we knew it, it was time to pack up and make the trip back home again. And there was still plenty of conversations around wool, sheep, the wool industry. I really nerded out on that and loved it. And wait for it, I got home and the next morning I woke up, opened my curtains and the lawnmowers. The sheep were outside. We've got quite a bit of feed around the sheds and houses, so we get the sheep in, or the lawnmowers as I call them, to eat it all down. And I just don't think I'll ever look at sheep the same again now that I have this new understanding of the wool, all the wool stuff. That is a wrap for today's YouTube video. I hope that you loved it, and more than anything, I hope you learned something new about wool or the wool industry, because I know I certainly did in the process of making this YouTube video. And a huge thank you to Trevor from Elders for taking Farmer Paul and myself across to Melbourne to see our wool get sold and answer all of my questions. I had a lot. He's a very patient man. He was also very patient with Farmer Paul's bakery stops to Melbourne and back again too. As for next week's YouTube video, I'm filming it this week, getting ready to share it with you next week. The guys are windrowing the canola, so that means we are getting that little bit closer to harvest. I can't wait for harvest to kick off. And we will also be classing the ram hoggets, because you may remember during shearing time, we took a sample from each ram hogget, a sample of wool. We've sent the wool away to get tested or whatever they do with it. We'll find out more in this week's YouTube video that I make. The results are in, which means they can now class the ram hoggets again based off the results from those wool tests. I think that's right. We'll find out from Farmer Paul and Farmer Rod in next week's YouTube video, but that should be cool. And I have no doubt some other stuff will probably pop up throughout the week as well. That will be in next week's YouTube video. So to make sure you're kept in the loop and you don't miss out on any future videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and please give today's YouTube video the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you learnt, what you liked about the video, or maybe you've got some questions and I might be able to answer them in future Q&A videos. Anyhow, I better get back to filming and editing videos. Thank you so much for watching. Another big thank you to Elders for the trip as well. It was incredible. Until next time, be wildly you and live life your way. Bye.
Burn a little brighter every day, swimming in the tide against the waves, and I can hold my breath until they crash. Never been the type to wait, I never had the time to play it safe.